Hey everybody, and welcome to Goose's Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and we're here today to talk Fall Brawl 94. And I'm here with Andrew Lee. Andrew Lee, how you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. I wish I had women problems like Dominic, but it's all right.
I
I
mean, I
still
would
have two
I would
hands.
just pick Liv. That's not a problem for me. I would just be like, I'll just take Liv. Rhea
Wait,
Ripley, Rhea Ripley kind of feels like she's just like all talk, like she's all like, "Oh, I'm so sexy," and then you get her, and then like you go to bed. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Well, let's just watch a movie. But Liv, it
maybe
like
you're
feels.
maybe you're just racist.
How am I racist?
You don't like Australians or New Zealanders or
Nah,
whatever.
I feel like Liv is like she's all about everything. So
She's
people
from
leave.
she's from Elmwood Park, New Jersey, which is very
It's,
close to where I live, right?
Mhm.
And I have a friend who lives in Elmwood Park, and whenever he's a little, the mother my friend's mother, she's
Mhm.
older. She likes wrestling, but whenever I go over, she always mentions that Liv Morgan. She's from Elmwood. Yes, I know she's from Elmwood Park. But people in Elmwood Park, they love her. They're like really proud of her. I was
Well,
like,
I'm
oh,
proud of her.
yeah, good for her.
Um,
Good for Liv Morgan.
good for her. If only she went out with Ric Flair for at Fall Brawl. Maybe she could have been dating Conrad Thompson. But
Maybe.
this was a really good show. But it really does feel like two worlds are pulling this company. Like it still has this AEW feel. It still feels like a very a wrestling nerd. But then you have like the WWF, like the 80s WWF stuff creeping in. And I feel like without Vince and Bruce Pritchard, and I'm just using them, I don't know, it just feels like none of the magic of what made that era so good. Instead, it's just like the cheesiness of 80s WWF is kind of like intruding on this hard hitting product. And the fans are not happy about it, at least at this show.
All right, so I see your point. You're right. It's like a watered down WWF is invading, uh, like WCW. Like all the washed up acts are coming over, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, this is very exciting. You can like it's also makes the show better because I'm thinking back of like the '80s, the late '80s to mid '80s, WCW, which was just
Mm-hmm.
awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just boring. There's a fucking cowboy in every match, right? Everybody's
Yeah, yeah.
bleeding like nonsense. There's no characters. Everybody's just it's just like it's very bland. WCW is very bland in the '80s, and it's starting to you can see like you can see how they're gonna start taking over, like become the number
Yeah.
one. Like
Well, I'll tell you,
this is pre NWO, and it's already getting exciting. You know?
there's a moment here that basically doomed WCW. There's a moment here where they're like, you already doomed yourself. You don't know that you doomed yourself. You think you made the right move, and then seeing the crowd react after it, I'm like, yeah, you're. It's already okay. So this show's exciting, but it's already over after this show. WWF has already won the long term war.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can pinpoint it.
Okay.
Let's go over it.
Mhm.
Fall Brawl taking place in September 18th, 1994 in Roanoke, Virginia. 6,500 people are in attendance. AEW would kill for those numbers. 115,000 pay-per-view buys. So let's do a little comparison. Beach Blast had 225,000 buys. So this is
You mean
a
Bash at the Beach? Bash at the Beach.
Bash the Beach. I'm sorry. So this is a big step down. It's like they lost over 100,000 buys
Well,
already.
there's no Hogan, and the big appeal is Boss Man versus Sting versus Vader, which people have seen, even though I love it. And then the other thing is, I mean, let's just call it like it is. Dusty wasn't a draw. We have to pretend he is because of Cody, but he wasn't a draw.
And here's the thing: Halloween
And there's no
Havoc,
Ric Flair. There's no Ric Flair.
that's true. All the big shots are gone, and Halloween Havoc, which is the next WCW pay-per-view after this, is
Mhm.
210 pay-per-view buys. So if you look, the pay-per-view before this is in the 200,000 range. The pay-per-view after this is in the 200,000 range. So this is a very low drawing. Fall Brawl is a very low drawing pay-per-view. You
Well,
compare it to
I think
SummerSlam.
people, I
Mhm.
think people when they saw Hogan wasn't on the card, they're like, I'm gonna save my money until Hogan's on the card again.
Yeah, and if you look at SummerSlam, which happened in August, the month before,
Mhm.
300,000 buys
Yeah.
and 23,000 people in attendance. It's just killing. It's just getting killed in everything, in other numbers. But anyway, we get the War Games simulation graphic, like
Yeah,
go ahead,
super
just go over the
cheesy.
card. It's a little cheesy. It's like that cheesy '90s stuff. Maybe because I grew up in the '90s, I like it because it's just cheesiness to it. I like.
This era, the I like more the late '80s era. This mid '90s cheese, I don't like too much.
Mhm.
If Vince was screaming War Games, like then I'd be okay with it.
Oh, if Vince McMahon was doing the like, oh, we're gonna run down the
A
card,
match
and
beyond Dusty Rhodes versus the Stud Stable. That would be.
you know what? Maybe I would too. Actually,
They
they
should
this is
still.
me.
I know he's gonna go to jail. They should let him. He can just do it from his house. They should SummerSlam. It'll be the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes.
There should be somebody. If you can't get Junior to do it, they should get somebody else to do it. Like the person who does like the monster trucks, rallies
Yeah,
commercials. They should have
yeah.
somebody do that. But anyways, Martin Del Rey, he sings the national anthem. He is known for the hits. It's another country music star, by the way. WCW, they love country, and
They
he
love
is
it, and
known.
they never go away. They have country western concerts at their pay per views up until 98, 99. So
Yeah, they're very country oriented. We got Tony Schiavone, Mean Gene Okerlund, and Bobby the Brain Heenan, who's in a neck brace. They welcome us to the show. Mean Gene says he's gonna be talking to Hulk Hogan by satellite, and people start booing. You can hear the crowd booing over this.
this is the hardcore WCW audience. This is the
This is
audience like the hard
Roanoke,
hitting.
Virginia. Yeah, this is Roanoke, Virginia. We're right in
They
the
like
Clairton area.
see these are the people that actually enjoyed the young pistol matches and the 47 tag matches and everything that we found boring. They liked it and
Mhm.
they don't want Hogan here because they watch real wrestling and Hogan's that
Hogan is
cartoon.
Hogan's representing the Yankee Company
So
up
you know what you should listen to? It's on Jim Ross's YouTube page. Conrad put up his old '90s talk show, so he'll take guests. He'll be in a studio with like Terry Taylor or Vinny Vegas or Cat. He'll take guests. And I was listening to one, because I listen when I'm at the gym, and it's him and Vinny Vegas. And a guy called. He goes, "Now that Lex Luger joined the circus, y'all think he's gonna win the belt over there?" And Jim Ross like, "Well, I think he's got a good chance. I heard they're calling him the narcissist, which I think is a good nickname for him. But yeah, he's in the circus now. So like these people, like, you're not a real wrestler, now you're a circus performer. You fucking loser, Lex Luger."
It's it's so weird because like even the ratings show you that like they're just people are less interested in this type of wrestling, right? The ratings,
I
the
mean, you seen the
attendance.
same with AEW.
Yeah, I
He,
know, but the people back then in the '90s who liked WCW, even though they know they're not stupid. They know that there's less people in attendance. They could see it too.
Mhm.
But they still go like, no, this is the superior product.
But it's because it's real. This is real wrestling, and the same thing now with AEW fans. They're like, "You like kitty shit." It's so funny how like it's just a whole new generation of people doing
I
this.
guess
Like,
I guess that would be like somebody going like, Burger King is the best fast food.
no, you know what it is. It's like somebody being like, I read DC comics because that's for adults. Like my Power of Shazam comic is for an adult, and you're a little kid, so you like to read Avengers and
You like to read that clown circus shit.
that circus Spider-Man bullshit. I read this is a real adult story with
I
Aquaman.
read
It's for
real
adults.
comic books. I read
Yeah.
real comic books.
It's just to me, it's like it's like you think like you're like a superior loser, you're actually a bigger loser. And that's the thing. It's like that's why like AEW doesn't need to appeal to these people, because the minute WCW stopped appealing to just these people didn't go away. You know, the funny thing is there's like 2 million people who just stopped watching wrestling when WCW went under. When Vince bought WCW, like almost 2 million fans just vanished. So these people were going to be loyal to WCW no matter what. WCW could have had fucking musical chairs if they kept going. And these people, yeah, it's real wrestling. So my thing is it's going to be the same with these AEW guys. You're going to have, well, okay, maybe 500,000 now. You're going to have 500,000 people are going to watch AEW no matter what. So just do what you can to get everyone else to watch it.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
well, we'll see. Who knows? Like we'll talk about AEW eventually in one day. But for now, we're gonna be in WCW Fall Brawl. Match number 1. It is for the TV title. We got Johnny B. Bad, curtain jerking once again, versus the champion, Steven Regal, with who's wearing a wig and dressed up like, like the
George
stereotypical.
Washington or some shit.
Yeah, George, like, yeah, no, not George Washington, like the British aristocrat.
Amadeus.
Yeah,
Amadeus.
Amadeus. Yeah, yeah, and he's with Sir William as always. Johnny B. Bad controls with an arm wringer to start the match. He does his slingshot plancha onto Regal on the floor. Back in the ring, Johnny B. Bad does a flying crossbody, which Regal ducks, and it makes Johnny B. Bad go throat first into the ropes. And also, Sir William chokes Johnny B. Bad with his cane, and this allows William Regal to start beating on the weakened Johnny B. Bad. There is a fan with a red shirt in the audience arguing with the official about, hey, I'm allowed to be here. I got a ticket. I'm allowed to be here for a ticket. And we're going to get back to this guy later on in the show. But as the match continues, they do a sunset flip cover with the umbrella from Sir William's spot that you see in every single Steven Regal match so far on pay-per-view. But even the ref has seen this now at this point. So he kicks the umbrella, and then Sir William gets on the apron and he holds Johnny B. Bad. And Regal goes to hit him, but Johnny B. Bad moves out of the way for Sir William to get knocked out by Steven Regal. After eating a few European uppercuts, Johnny B. Bad backslides William Regal for the win and the title, which gets a huge pop because people did not see this coming. I thought this was a very fun way to. They're finally like understanding this is how you do an opening match. Just put the crowd favorite in there and just get the crowd happy. This is like straight out of WWF playbook. What did you think?
Yeah, that was a really good match. Johnny Bad continues to impress. William Regal, obviously, he's been kicking ass. Steven Regal, every time we watch one of these shows, it was a very, very good opener. It was the right move. And Johnny Bad is so not over the fan cheers. That's how over he is. Because Johnny Bad was never over, and Vince was an idiot for signing him. He's so not over that people actually fool themselves thinking that he's over, and they pop huge for his title win. So that's how not over he was.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. He was. These revisionists, they really need to go back and watch the shows. But then
you're not supposed to watch show. You're just supposed to listen to Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette, and Mick Foley, and Steve Austin, and everyone. I think a lot of this, he was never over. He was never good. I think a lot of it is they're jealous about Sable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that they're pissed that he got Sable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never thought Sable was that hot. You know that? I always thought Sonny was hotter than Sable.
Sonny's hotter. Sonny is hotter. But Sable actually put the work in. I mean, and it's not good work if you compare her to everyone we're watching nowadays. But I mean, for the time, she put the work in, which is why she got the push. She was willing to get into the ring.
Yeah.
Sonny never got. If Sonny had good work rate, I think they would have gave Sonny the IC belt over fucking China, but she never actually went in the ring.
I liked it better that Sonny never got in the ring, and I wish Sable never got in the ring as well.
Well, when we get to, I think Sable had the best match at WrestleMania 14, but we'll talk about that at WrestleMania 14.
I wish Sable never even married Brock Lesnar. I wish she had stayed with Mark Merrow the whole time.
I think Mark Merrow is a better life now.
Yeah, I think I think you might be right.
I don't think Mark Merrill gives a shit.
Yeah, I don't think so. Tony Schiavone, he recaps the whole Hulk Hogan Ric Flair feud, and they show Clash of Champions in August. Now, Clash of Champions, I don't know if you remember when we did the last time we did like a WCW show, we were talking about how Antonio Inoki was starting a fight with like William Regal and
Yeah.
stuff. So that they did fight at a Clash of Champions. The Clash of Champions is not a pay-per-view. So that's why we're
No,
not reviewing it.
it's their battle of the belts.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a Clash of Champions that happened a month before in August. And in it, someone, when Hogan's coming out for his match, attacks Hogan and hits his knee like Nancy Kerrigan, which with the Tanya Harding thing that happened in 1994. And Nick Bockwinkel, the commissioner of WCW, he says Hulk will have to forfeit the title if he doesn't fight that night, which is kind of ridiculous. We all see that he gets blindsided attack, and the guy goes, he still needs to wrestle, which is really stupid. Anyway, Hogan fights, and he ends up getting beaten on, and Ric Flair ends up like leaving with this title or something like that. So that's the recap that we did not get to see.
Nick Bockwinkel stinks on the mic, and also like, yeah, why would Hogan have to give the? So by that logic, like at SummerSlam, can't like Solo just hire someone to beat up Cody Rhodes for the match, and then Solo will get the belt? Same thing when Swerve takes on Hangman. Just have someone beat up Hangman.
Why don't the bad guys just do this for every single match?
Yeah.
So Johnny B. Bad comes out, and he's got to wrestle Steven Regal for the television title. And before the match begins, Sir William just starts beating on this guy with a chair, and the commissioner comes out and goes, I don't care if you're hurt, Johnny B. Bad. You got to wrestle or you forfeit the match. It's like, that's stupid logic. It's really dumb. If I was a bad guy, I would do this every single time, right?
Yeah, maybe they don't do this in the future. I think they just did this to build like drama for but then they try to enforce it later with Steve Austin. But I think they wanted drama for Hogan. I guarantee this was Hogan's idea, brother. They gotta force me to. But Hogan should have said like, I'm gonna wrestle no matter what, or I'm gonna give her the belt. And they're like, well, you signed this thing. You said you would wrestle no matter what, Hogan. So if you don't like, have Hogan put himself in that position. Don't have this company have this dumb fucking. I feel that's Hogan's thing because he wanted to be like imperative.
He tries to. There's a point where something happened to Hogan in the 90s where he just started like really just like, he forgot what made Hogan Hogan. Like,
I think he thinks like I gotta have the odds stacked against me because Ric Flair I can't just have a regular match with Ric Flair where he beats me up and I almost lose. There has to be like 9 guys that have to beat me up before I fight Flair, so that way Flair is shot and the match is interesting.
Yeah. It started like he even started in WWF, right, and the 90s, but it's just like, dude, that's not what made you so great. Like, I don't know how he doesn't see it. It's insane. But anyway, yeah, that's what he's doing. I can totally buy that. This is Hogan's idea. It's stupid.
And also, I think he's trying to get over Beefcake as because Beefcake's the guy in the mask.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. No spoilers, brother. Let's go to match number 2. Loser leaves match. It's Cactus Jack facing one of his former tag team partner, Kevin Sullivan, who comes out with David Sullivan, and they start fighting on the floor right away. And Kevin Sullivan shoves Cactus Jack over the rails into the fans. These guys are just fighting on the floor. Cactus Jack moves the mat to expose the concrete, and then he goes up on the second turnbuckle, and David Sullivan is distraught because he likes Cactus Jack, but Kevin's his brother, so he like ends up holding Cactus's leg so he can't get off the second turnbuckle. For Kevin Sullivan allows Kevin Sullivan to just grab Cactus Jack and then flip him down from the second turnbuckle to the concrete floor. It is a nasty bump, and it's just like
there's no point in doing it. That's why I always claim, especially after I met him, Mick Foley's a very selfish person because like you don't have it's 6 minutes and they're just burying you and telling you to get the fuck out so they can move on with their. This is basically the the Dave Sullivan likes Hulk Hogan storyline. It's not even your
Yeah.
storyline anymore. Why do you need to throw your head onto the ground? Why? There's no point. There's no point. You
Yeah,
already
and
know you're leaving.
this was very selfish because this was very like you gotta get something to understand. Like he is fucking up his body for his wife to become basically his servant for the rest
Oh,
of her life.
I've heard, by the way, that the wife left him recently.
Really?
And I kind of believe it. So I'm behind on the Conrad podcasts, and Mick was in a room with some female indie wrestler, and Renee Dupree revealed on his podcast that Mick's wife left him, like she got tired of his shit.
I can see that, dude. She's like, dude, I watched an episode of Trading Like Spouses, and every morning she has to put his socks on for him.
And he does like talk a little bit. He does this thing where I hate when people do this. He does this thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm really good friends with every hot female person that does wrestling, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm such a good guy, that's why they like to hang out with me." And I kind of feel like, no, you want to fuck all of them. That's why you're friends with all of them.
Exactly. That's why you're buddy to all the female wrestlers because not because you're a good guy, but because you in the back of your head you want to fuck all of them, and you are playing this coy teasing, oh we're buddies thing, but you won't act like that for all the male wrestlers though, right? Who else does
Yeah,
this?
you're not like, he was like, I was really close with Stacy Keibler. Why weren't you close with Mark Jindrak? That guy got kicked out of Evolution. He needed a friend.
Who else does this?
Nobody was friends with Mark Jindrak. Why does anyone want to be friends with him?
Who else does this?
CM Punk, but
CM Punk.
But I'll tell you the difference. I think women are drawn, and I've seen guys like this. Women are drawn to him. It's different to me because I think women want to be around his orbit. Like they go to him, and then he just is like, "All right, here you are."
I saw a clip of it recently of CM Punk rolling around the mat with referee Jessica Carr, and I'm like, this motherfucker would never do this with any of the male referees.
I know.
He's such a bullshit. Like all the time.
The difference between him and Foley is these women are looking for that. Like they are turned on by him. He has game. He has game. See, people get mad at him.
He has game, but man, God, like don't be fooled by CM Punk's act. You know,
I'm not, but look, I give him credit because he has game. He's always going to have game. I feel like he's going to be like a 70-year-old man that has women following him around, and it is what it is. I worked with a guy like that. The women would just come to him and like kind of hover around him, and he wouldn't have to put in that much effort. I feel like CM Punk's the same thing. He probably knows I'm just going to sit here and read a book, and Jackie Redmond's going to want to blow me by the time I'm 2 pages in. I guarantee you that happens. Good for him. I hope he fucks everyone.
Who's Jackie Redmond?
She's one of the interviewers on Raw.
Oh, okay.
She's taking a bunch of pictures with him, and she looks, dude. If you were standing like that with a girl on social media, I'd be like, Andrew, you can't look that desperate. She's a hot chick too, and she just looks at him with puppy dog eyes. She's like gorgeous, dude. Look her up, Jackie Redmond. Look her up. Every time I see them interact, she looks like such a fucking loser. Like she's like, oh please, I wish you would just fuck me, CM Punk. Oh my god, I love you.
No, I do not think this woman is that hot.
Oh, come on. She's pretty hot.
Dude, her face something's wrong with her face.
Oh, God. See,
something's wrong with her face, dude.
That's why CM Punk probably doesn't fuck her. That's why she has that look of desperation.
Well, her husband got to get married. We got to be careful because she's married.
Yeah, that don't stop. That don't stop Punk. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't stop Punk, yo.
You know what Punk says? That don't work for me, brother.
That don't work for me, brother. Yeah, that's probably right. He would say that. Anyways.
So dude, he was so good. He was so good on Raw last night. You know what? You can say what you want.
Yeah, I know we got to take a break from this WCW, but I did see the segment between him and Seth Rollins on Raw.
He makes everyone better.
Dude, you know what CM Punk's it factor is? This is what CM Punk's it factor is. I legit can't tell when he's working and when it's a shoot.
And that's what wrestling's about.
Yeah, I can't fucking tell. And that's what makes CM Punk so good. It's that his believability is just, man. Like, you
Dude,
know what?
like usually
I was
see
out with
Seth.
Jackie Redmond. I would fucking
Dude, Seth Rollins usually just comes across so fake, and whenever he's in the ring with Punk, it actually sounds like Seth Rollins a real person. It doesn't
Mhm.
sound like he's reading off a script Vince McMahon wrote him. It just
not
he
just
feels.
not just his words, like the faces he makes.
You
Like
talking about
when
Seth or CM Punk?
yeah, Seth, like Seth,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. When
When
he's with Punk, when
yeah,
he
yeah, and it's
sings.
like that's what I'm saying. It's not even just I know what you mean. Seth Rollins sounds like a caricature, or looks like a caricature most of the time. But when he's with CM Punk, not only is what he's saying sound realistic, but just his demeanor, everything
Mhm.
about it. Like when CM Punk mentioned his daughter's name, and he had that look in his spot, and Seth had that look in his face.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, this guy looks legit pissed off that his daughter was mentioned or something, right?
When
Like,
CM Punk like has a hard time saying he's sorry, like also that ties into the AEW stuff. And then he goes, "I'm sorry," but if it's you, because it's you, I'm really not that sorry. Like it
yeah,
just
yeah.
like and then he goes, there's people on this side of the camera," and then Twitter got so upset by it. It's like, bro, but you know what, dude? Think about like this fucking elite storyline is so fucking bad. Even Hangman Page's promo, I hate you, Swerve. Imagine like if they worked with Punk, how much better they'd all be. Even Okada and Jungle Boy, like how much if they all just worked with him, man. Fucking Jungle Boy would be a star right now. I guarantee you, Punk could make Jungle Boy work.
What are you talking about, Goose? Jungle Boy already is a star.
He's the biggest star in the world. But it's like, dude, it's like if I'm a Tony Khan, like, uh, how do you, how do you not just fire the Young Bucks? I don't know. Like, how do you like still like, oh, I'm stuck with these guys. I fucked myself. I got it. I had it. I had it. I had my Hulk Hogan, and I gave him up for Bunkhouse Buck.
That's yeah, I gave him up for Robert Lee. It's like Colonel Parker's family. Like you gave it up for Colonel Parker's family. Like you kept him and Bunkhouse and all that. Going back to this match. So after Cactus Jack falls from the second buckle to the concrete, he takes the no. He also gets body slammed again on the concrete. You're absolutely right. This is 100% so fucking selfish that he does this. And because you're right. Number one, it's selfish to his family, right? That
Mhm.
he's hurting himself like this. And number two, it's selfish to David
Himself.
Sullivan and Kevin Sullivan,
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Mhm.
no longer about him. And
This story, no, this story and this match and where they're gonna go, which they go in a very cartoon WWF direction, doesn't call for him to fall on his head like that. And I really
yeah,
was like, you're such a fucking selfish fucking loser, bro. You're such a,
and,
and the only person you're affecting is your kids
yeah. And here's
because
the
you're
thing.
not getting Dave Sullivan over like this.
Mm-mm. And when I was actually younger, like in my early 20s,
Mhm.
I used to think it was so cool that Mick Foley would take bumps like these, right?
Well,
And I used to think,
when the story calls for it, it is cool, but this doesn't
yeah,
call for it.
yeah. But I remember like listening to like Flair and say stuff like saying that's setting the business back. I totally see their side now. It's
Yeah.
100% setting the business back by doing shit like this. And it's just like
Well,
unnecessary. It's
if you're
stupid.
if so like on WWF, if they if someone's willing to do things that like I don't care if I can't get up when I'm 40, I'm just gonna do all these crazy bumps. It hurts everyone else's matches because everyone else is wrestling safe, and then this guy is like he's the second match in, he lights himself on fire. He falls on his head 4 times. He fucking gets his face plowed in with a baseball bat. It's like, well, then what am I like? Like now I gotta sell fucking the people's elbow, you know?
Yeah,
But you're getting up when you
absolutely.
hit with a baseball bat. You fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
it's so fucking stupid. Anyway,
Mhm.
going back to this match, Tony Schiavone does mention that his Cactus Jack ear was ripped off in Germany when he had a match with Vader. Talk about so it had happened already. Cactus Jack, however, even though he takes all these crazy bumps of concrete, he's still in control of this match somehow. And
Mhm.
so Kevin Sullivan backdrops him onto the concrete some more. It's like
Yeah,
it's
let's just do it
not
a few more
only is
times.
that getting bumped on the
This
concrete.
match, by the way, is 6 minutes long. This
Yeah,
match is And it's not even like the center. They forget about this match as soon as it's over.
Yeah, he's getting dropped onto the concrete, but he's still like he's not even selling it. He's still like in charge of this match, and he has to get. He takes 3 bumps on the fucking concrete. It's just ridiculous. And you're right. This is like a 6-minute match, so they're doing this all like rapid fire. So stupid. The things I'm watching. Cactus Jack, he gets a chair, but once again, Dave Sullivan keeps him from using it because it's his brother, right? And while this is happening, Kevin Sullivan slams Cactus Jack's face into the step. David Sullivan stops Kevin Sullivan this time from using the chair too. And then Cactus Jack tries to hit Kevin Sullivan from behind while he's distracted, but Kevin Sullivan moves out of the way, so Cactus Jack collides with Dave Sullivan, and which allows Kevin Sullivan to roll up Cactus Jack for the win. The fans boo because they are fans of Cactus Jack and they know that he's leaving. This is not a good match, but it's also not a bad match. But it's a match to see how not good Cactus Jack was with psychology. He doesn't know psychology.
It's they knew Cactus was leaving. It was just to get Kevin Sullivan over. You can tell by the time they were already done with Cactus. They're looking to move forward, and even with the way the announcers, they just completely bury him because they know he's gone and he's not coming back. And yeah, I kind of feel like if I was Cactus, I would have saved my body. There was no reason to do, but I don't want to beat a dead horse. But fuck him anyway. Let's keep going on.
Yeah, let's keep going on. Mean Gene Okerlund, he is with the Stud Stable. And we got Bunkhouse Buck speaking first. And he's got and his bangs he's got his stupid like bangs in like a pointy thing.
Oh, I
like
fucking hate him. The stench of failure is all over this guy.
Somebody told him
he lowers Arn, he lowers Terry because they have to stand next to him.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got the stupid bangs, and then he talks about, oh, it's unfair that Robert Parker has to be in this match instead of Meng. He's got a blood pressure, he's got a heart condition and everything. And Terry Funk was there. He goes, I volunteer to go first. I want to go first. I volunteer against the Fat Boys Incorporated, which I thought was really funny.
It's a really good game.
Fat Boys Incorporated. Arn Anderson cuts a promo as Colonel Parker is super hot and sweaty. And then Meng does karate fucking moves as the promo ends. I love this. Like, the more we're seeing Colonel Parker, the more he's getting into this stereotype of like the Southern gentleman who's always hot and sweaty. He's like always, the stereotype of the Southern gentleman who's wearing all white and he's all hot and sweaty. I love it. It's so funny.
This is what I think. I think Jeff Jarrett should take over this role in AEW and be Hangman's manager and start a new stud stable.
Yeah. I think it would be really funny if they did this. Yeah.
But I really think the new bloodline needs Haku in this role because Haku can do this role now at his age. He can do this role as the new wise man of the bloodline. What are you laughing about?
No, the bloodline. Yeah, it's pretty funny. By the way,
no, he just has to stand there and look menacing. And like, if he does get like, what does he do? The tongue and death grip on like Kevin Owens or something? He can do that.
I would say Meng should. First off, if you're gonna do this, he's got to dye his hair because he's gray. He's really gray. I think he would dye his hair.
Hey, listen, they got makeup women in the back that don't want to fuck CM Punk, so they can stop fucking him.
Can he still take bumps?
He doesn't need to take a bump. Paul Heyman didn't take a bump for 2 years, so for 4 years. He doesn't need to take a bump. And if he does take a bump, I guarantee you, there's a way to do it where he's safe, unless he has like some severe medical condition we don't know about. But wasn't he just in New Japan a few years ago?
Yeah, a few years ago he was. Yeah, actually, that's right. Actually, he can still what do you call it?
But he doesn't need to be taking bumps. If let's say they do this, and then by SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes is throwing him around the arena, it's fucking stupid. Like, they got to build to his bump.
Yeah. By the way, I think you're right. I think Mick Foley and Colette did separate. I think I'm reading about it now. It's
Yeah.
true.
Jackie Redmond seduced him.
Jackie
Like,
Redmond.
I'll have you.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brainy Heenan. They say Ricky Steamboat. He's not. He may be out. He's injured, so he may not be in the U.S. title match. And Austin comes out and for the next match, and then Ricky Steamboat comes out, and to Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brainy Heenan's credit, he is not in gear. He's wearing civilian clothes and he's holding the belt. And Nick Bockwinkel's out there and he says Ricky's injured, so you're gonna be stripped of the title. You got to forfeit it, which is okay. I'll give him credit. They're being consistent with that. If you can't wrestle, you got to forfeit. Yeah. So he strips the title from Ricky Steamboat, and
this makes a little bit more sense. This makes a little bit more sense because Ricky Steamboat, we don't know where he got the back injury, so it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, and he gives it to Austin. And during this segment, Austin is great. He's mocking Ricky Steamboat during this whole segment.
He's stone cold. He's stone cold in this.
Yeah,
he's no longer.
This is the first time I'm seeing Austin, stunning Steve Austin. I see is acting like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
And he's money.
He's being a total asshole. And Ricky Steamboat, when Austin's mocking him during this segment, Ricky Steamboat goes, "Hey, I want you to know that you never beat me," which is true. You didn't beat him. You just getting a title doesn't mean you beat you. And he goes, "You didn't beat me, Austin. I beat you." And then Austin goes, "Oh, shut up, you Hawaiian punk." He goes, "Shut up, you mealy mouth Hawaiian punk." I was like, this is Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was amazing. Austin wants to leave with the title, but Box says, whoa, you still got a match tonight. And Austin's like, what do you mean I got a match? Ricky Steamboat's can't wrestle. And he goes, "Oh, well, you got a new opponent." And he brings out Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who comes out to a humongous pop. This is match number 3 for the U.S. title. Austin, the new champion, versus Jim Duggan. Austin goes to leave. He's like, "I don't want to be a part of this match." Nick Bockwinkel grabs Austin, pulls him back into the ring, and he immediately turns into Jim Duggan, who back body drops Austin and covers him in a less than a minute match to a humongous pop. Mean Gene Okerlund, as soon as this match is over, he goes to Jim Duggan, and Jim Duggan he starts a USA chant, and he says, "I'm sorry to Ricky Steamboat for your injury and like losing the title like this, but guess what? God bless America." And then he says, and by the way, I saw a lot of I've seen lots of low down bogus people in the wrestling business, but none as low as Ric Flair with that fake world title. What?
Then the crowd turns on him.
Yeah, this fake world title. Hulk Hogan's my friend. He's going to tear you apart, Ric Flair. And I enjoyed this entire segment. Even though there's no real match, I enjoyed this whole thing. What about you?
It's a great segment. This is where they lost the war because Austin didn't want to get squashed. And they went, "Fuck, you're getting squashed." And that's when Austin realized they don't see anything in me. They don't see a future with me. And then he kind of stopped trying, and then he eventually gets fired. Because when he gets fired, Bischoff, he says, "I'm not coming to the taping, I'm hurt." And Bischoff fires him. And Steve Austin tells Bischoff, "I had already decided in my head, you don't see anything in me, you don't like me. Why am I bothering with you?" And this is the moment he realized they don't see anything in me. Because I shouldn't be losing to Jim Duggan this fast. I thought it was a well-made segment, but there's really no follow-up. He never gets his win back from Jim Duggan.
So that's stupid. There should have been a follow-up. There should have been a feud or something. They
have a match. They have a match in Halloween Havoc, but Austin was like an idiot in that match too. And this is the moment. This is the moment because he's hitting it like, dude, he's already there. He's basically Steve Austin. He's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could have had a guy that could be your next Ric Flair and feud with Savage and Sting and Hall and Nash and Goldberg and you basically said to him, "Dude, like you can be here, but you can job to Avalanche, you can job to Jim Duggan, the Honky Tonk Man. You're not the future." And that cost them everything because Austin's the reason why WWF is still in business. It's all Steve Austin. He's the reason why they came back from the dead and beat WCW.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. it feels like Tony Khan's making the same mistakes. Instead of relying on their own homegrown and developing their own homegrown
Mhm.
talent, they're bringing it or like talent that already made a name for themselves elsewhere, and
Mhm.
they're using the homegrown talent. The homegrown talent is putting these names from elsewhere over, which I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan of. That's you should never do that.
And you know, the guy, they really look past Austin, and the damage he did to them is just, even I couldn't have predicted. I mean, I remember in early, I'm like, stunning Steve Austin? He's the main guy. And then when I saw it, I got it. But like, nobody could. But when you see it, when you watch him, like, you could have had William Regal lose this fast to Jim Duggan instead. Like, I don't know. Like, there's other people. This was not the guy to do this with. But, hey, and Jim Duggan loses the crowd right away because he does this he basically wins, and then basically that promo where he shuts on Ric Flair is to tell the audience the WWF guys are in control. Like, we're in control
Yeah,
now.
I think so. By the way, I think he was probably told to say that though.
Yeah, yes. But he's
Mhm.
told by Bischoff, who's basically as soon as Hogan gets hired, Bischoff's working for Hogan. Hogan's not working for Bischoff. So.
Yeah, well, he had creative control. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
and
huge thing.
it
Yeah,
don't work for him, brother.
yeah, and this is why I stand by Eric Bischoff's a fucking idiot. Yeah, he's the only guy who may have who beat Vince McMahon at his own game, but he at the end of the day is still an idiot. I
Yeah,
don't take anything he says right now
I, I,
seriously.
I do think he is a little bit smarter than Tony Khan.
Yeah, but that's like comparing idiots.
I think the smartest guy of them all is actually, if you really think about it, Paul Heyman. He's the only one still with a job and a pretty high. He's probably making really great money. Bischoff's gone. Jim Cornette's gone. Vince McMahon is gone, and Heyman still has a lot of say and a lot of power. So
Heyman and Bruce Pritchard
yeah, yeah.
and
But
Michael Hayes.
oh God, I still can't believe Michael Hayes.
I don't
Anyway,
know
let's keep
how
going.
Michael Hayes has a job. I mean, like supposedly he's throwing around the N words and stuff like that, and he still has a
Apparently,
job.
he produced. He wrote out the whole Bloodline segment with Paul Heyman, which everyone loves, and like Paul Heyman deserves an Oscar. Apparently, that was all his idea. So if he's
Wow,
come up with
Michael
ideas
Hayes.
like that,
If that's true, Michael Hayes still got it.
if that's true, then that's why he's still around.
Yeah,
If that's all him, like they're saying, which I don't buy, but I'm not there. I can't tell you.
yeah.
If that was all his idea, he maps out the whole thing, then that's why he's still around.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, when Jim Duggan came out for his match, he came out to the Washington Post song, and then when he's leaving after his interview with Mean Gene, the Stars and Stripes theme plays, and it's for the next match. And so you get this real patriotic feel during this entire segment. And the tag team comes out, Stars and Stripes, which is Marcus Alexander Bagwell and the Patriot. And basically, they run into Hacksaw Jim Duggan as he's leaving, and they high five Jim Duggan. I think this is a very good transition the way he did it.
Yeah, me too.
And Stars and Stripes, as they're walking towards the ring, they get into the fan with the red shirt. They get into an argument with the fan with the red shirt, and the fan has to get escorted out by Doug Dillinger.
He must have
This
said
man,
something really bad because Tony Schiavone buries the guy.
Doug Dillinger,
No, he buries the fan. Did you not hear Tony Schiavone be like, "Thank God they got rid of that guy"? Spewing awful stuff, and then you touch the wrestlers. You can't touch the wrestlers. Get him.
so this fan is actually it's Repo Man. It's what do you call it? It's a repackaged Repo Man, and he's gonna go by.
Okay, that's pretty. Okay, I really thought Tony Schiavone just was like had enough of a fan. I thought he was like
No,
just
no,
sick.
no. This was like a gimmick that he was like a fan, and he's gonna go by the name Blacktop Bully.
And
He's
he
supposed to
winds
be.
up getting fired with Dustin Rhodes at Uncensored, which we'll get into. And that
Yeah,
launches Goldust. This is
so he's
this
supposed
is
to be
the
like
beginning
a
of
trucker gimmick.
this is the beginning of the end for poor Dustin.
Yeah. So that's who it is. By the way, Doug Dillinger, he is the WCW head of security.
Yeah.
For he to be a head of security for a long time, and a lot of people did not like Doug Dillinger.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Bret Hart has said that his stuff had gotten stolen because Doug Dillinger was shitty at his job. So,
Well, it was a good old boys network. It was that Southern, like the same thing when like they had these old wrestlers fight the young guys, and the old wrestlers aren't giving the young guy anything. It's this good old boys Southern network that also in a way kind of doomed WCW.
yeah, absolutely. Let's go to match number 4. This is for the tag titles. We got Stars and Stripes versus Pretty Wonderful, the champions. They come out wearing shades. This is Paul Roma and Paul Orndorff. They take forever to begin this match. And Roma eventually starts, and he takes a beating from both Bagwell and the Patriot. Bagwell, I would say at this point, he is the fastest person in this match. All 4 men, he's the fastest one. He's just like lightning fast. And
Yeah.
Orndorff he's the one who slows him down with an attack from behind when he's running the ropes, and they start putting the heat on Bagwell. And Orndorff does his shaky elbow drop, which the crowd really pops for. They love that shit. Orndorff he slams Bagwell headfirst into a cooler that is by the commentators. They say that Bobby the Brain Hand's cooler for drinks. They fucking slams his head into it, and then as Paul Roma showboats in the ring, it is fun. I'm gonna be honest. Pretty Wonderful is a great tag team. They're just fun to watch. Paul Orndorff even takes the cooler full of drinks and he dumps it all on Bagwell. And Bagwell takes one of the water bottles, but then decides not to use it. Patriot hot tags in. He starts cleaning up, but the referee never saw the tag as Bagwell eats a pile driver on the floor. While the referee calls off Patriot covering Paul Roma because he never saw the tag. And then Bagwell gets thrown back in for Paul Roma to slow cover him for the win. This was a fun match to watch. Bagwell at this point is still very good in the ring. He hasn't gotten the injury, which slows him the fuck down. And Paul Roma, Pretty Wonderful, I think is a very underrated heel tag team, in my opinion.
See, I thought this was the worst match on the show. I was bored by it. Yeah. It just felt to me like the typical we need to kill time match that WCW does. It didn't really excite me. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a subtraction by addition with the Patriot. It's like, man, you're no Scorpio, Scorpio Sky. Yeah, you're not even Scorpio Sky, but you're certainly no Too Cold Scorpio,
Yeah, but this is better than the Cactus Jack match.
See, I like the Cactus Jack match better because it's like it's short and it's like what the fuck, and I was bored during this match. I mean, technically it is better, but like the Cactus Jack match at least has the what the fuck is this idiot doing? And then you're watching Dave Sullivan with his stupid Hulk Hogan shirt, and Kevin Sullivan with his Bele Wele. Yeah. So I mean, like, there's a lot of like what's going on with that match, and it's short. Yeah, that match was 30 minutes, I'd be like, yeah, but I found this to be the worst match.
I would say this: since we were rewatching these, my view of Paul Roma has changed.
Well, he's good.
Very talented. Good. Yeah, he's actually very talented.
He's another guy. You know what it is? Because you know what it is? It's when you refuse to when you kind of call people on their bullshit, suddenly you're not a good worker. Because Paul Roma basically said, I wasn't going to suck Pat Patterson's dick. I can't talk about Jim Powers, but I wasn't. So, like, he basically, like, just calls it as it is. You're supposed to play this game where you're supposed to play this pretend game where Moolah was great, Pat Patterson was great, and he doesn't. So because he doesn't play the game, he was a shitty worker. Same thing with Mark Merrow. Mark Merrow was like, you guys being weird, my wife. And Mark Merrow went on, like, TV and was like, yeah, there's a lot of drugs in wrestling when Benoit died. And now you were never over, and you were a fucking loser, and you didn't deserve any money you got. Vince was a complete idiot. And even Vince will be, I was so stupid I gave Mark Merrow money. Fuck out of here. It's because they didn't play the game.
Yeah. Mean Gene Okerlund, he is with the both Dusty and Dustin Rhodes and the Nasty Boys, and they say it's payback time. And Dusty talks about the war games. He talks about games, and he goes, "Oh, there's all these types of games, but this is war games." And he's gonna make Parker squeal. He's gonna make him squeal. That's a good promo.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to match number 5, triangle elimination match for the number 1 contender. Big fucking word for this match. So it starts off with the Guardian. So I thought this was going to be a three-way match. Not a three-way match. It's kind of like this weird elimination match.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be the first triple threat that we've seen, and you're right. No, it's elimination match, but I actually thought it made the match a lot better.
I don't actually. No, I didn't think it was that much better, but we'll see. Actually, let's go over it.
Mm-hmm.
Guardian Angel, and it's supposed Guardian Angel versus Vader with Harley Race versus Sting. So these three are the men involved. Nick Bockwinkel is there, and he's going to flip a coin, and he's going to decide who has to sit it out. And Sting wins the coin toss, so he's out on bye. So we're going to have Vader and Guardian Angel start off first. They shoulder block, collide with each other to no effect. And when they do that, Bossman starts doing this, like, he starts having a fit. Like, he starts going like,
Mm-hmm.
and like the look on Vader's face, he's like, "What the fuck was that?" Like he's so
Yeah,
confused
exactly.
by Boss Man's fit. It's so weird. Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep calling him Boss Man. Guardian Angel, he backslams
He looks
Vader.
better this week, by the way, the Guardian.
Yeah, yeah. He starts doing the Vader crotch elbows on him, and then Angel hangs himself on the ropes when Vader moves out of the way for Vader to start taking over. They both go over the top rope to the floor. It's not DQ because they both went over. They fight on the floor some more, and then Harley takes a he gets hit by Vader by accident. So he's a Harley's no effect in this match. There is a referee bump, and then Guardian Angel hits the Boss Man slam on Vader, but Harley recovers from the hit from Vader, and he goes up and he headbutts the Guardian Angel for Vader to hit the Vader bomb for the win. So Vader and Guardian Angel has faced off like 3 times, I believe, and Vader has beaten Bossman 3 times in a row. So there's one former WWF guy who's not going over. That the actual homegrown talent is getting himself over.
Yeah, but you know what? Like when I kind of looked ahead to '94, I was like, oh, how many times is Vader going to fight the Boss Man? Jesus Christ! I gotta admit, like it's not been that bad watching these two go at it. It's always been entertaining somewhat.
Oh, it's been really good watching these guys. This is like an underrated feud that nobody really talks about, but it was
Because it's kind of
surprising.
one-sided. It's kind of
Yeah,
one-sided.
it's surprisingly, yeah, it's very one-sided because Bossman does not win a single one of these.
Yeah.
So now that Bossman's been eliminated, it's Vader versus Sting, and
And
Vader
this is the best part of the show to me.
Yeah, Vader right away instantly shows fear of Sting, and he's backing off a bit, probably because he's exhausted. And Sting takes the fight right to him until he runs into Vader really hard. He just like runs into like a brick wall. Then he eats a Vader bomb, but he fights off 2 other attempts of Vader bombs, and he sends Vader outside with a clothesline and suplexes Harley Race on the outside as well. Back in the ring, Vader beats on Sting until Vader goes for a moonsault and misses. He always does this. And then Sting hits a superplex and a German suplex. But Vader fights back with punches, and Harley Race also gets his hits in when the referee is not looking. Vader starts pounding on Sting in the corner, who starts no-selling, and then you see the fear returning in Vader's eyes. They go to the other, remember there's 2 rings, so they go to the other ring, and Sting hits 3 flying clotheslines, but he can't get a 3 count. And there's 1 minute left, and Sting power slams a diving Vader. Like Vader dives at him, and he catches him, and he power slams him. And then there's 30 seconds left. He puts on the Scorpion Deathlock, but the time expires. So they say we're going into 5 minutes overtime. Both men look super exhausted, but somehow Sting body drops Vader from the second turnbuckle, but Vader power bombs Sting and covers, but the time expires again. So they went an extra 5 minutes and the time expired again. So now we're at sudden death, okay? So what this basically means is the first guy who's off his feet loses. There's no pinfalls are needed. So Vader starts pelting Sting with a whole bunch of shots, but Sting's not going down. Guardian Angel returns, and he starts fighting with Harley Race, who cost him the match, right? And this distracts the referee as Vader does go down. Referee does not see it. Then a masked man comes in and hits Sting's knee, and Sting goes down as Vader gets up, and the referee sees this part, so Vader wins. Then they show the masked guy leaving through the crowd, and some of the fans try to attack this guy, which I thought was kind of fun.
He's like, "Get on my face! I'm actually Beefcake. Don't hit my face."
Yeah. While this was not a bad match, I would say I've seen better Sting versus Vader.
See, I really liked it. This is what I liked about it. You know, we're so used to the time limit draw, and then WCW just goes whatever. The fact that it kept going, they're like, now there's a 5-minute overtime. Well, now it's sudden death, and like the drama of because Vader is just hitting Sting like real punches, dude. He's hitting Sting, and Sting's not falling. The drama of that, they should do that. I've never seen anything like that before. I love that drama. And then, you know, you kind of tie it in with the Hogan story, which is cool because you're now these fans are invested in this hard hitting Japan style, you know, like of Vader that we've been seeing for the last 2 years with Vader and Sting. But now you're tying it into the Hogan story. So now, hopefully, what you're hoping is the fans are now going to be more invested in the Masked Man thing because now the Masked Man is fucking with Sting as well. Yeah. And the other thing, I wonder what people back and they were like, how the fuck is Hogan going to wrestle Vader? Because, man, Vader is just pounding on Sting. And, you know, this is, man, they fucking, man, Sting was so fucking good back then. And they constantly have made him take back seats to everyone, whether it was Hogan, Luger, Ron Simmons, Goldberg, Macho Man. He's always take the back seat, and this guy was
took a back seat to Lex Luger.
Well, okay, maybe not Lex Luger, but I'm saying
if anything, Lex Luger took the back seat to Sting.
Yeah, but I'm saying like even in '92, he has to lose the belt so Simmons can win the belt, and then like now Hogan, and then later on they just give up on the push for him because they want to push Goldberg, and it's like, man, he was so fucking good, and I don't know, these two have never had a bad match to me. I thought this was the best part of the. I thought this was a legit a 3-way match. I was kind of dreading it, but the way they did it, I thought was exciting, and this was the highlight of the show.
So I agree with you. This is not a bad match. Like I agree, Sting and Vader. I don't think they've ever actually had a bad match, right?
Mm-hmm.
All their matches are good, but the reason why I don't like this is, in a way, it does make Sting look weak, and I'll tell you why. Vader just had a match right before this.
Yeah.
And Sting still lost to this guy. Like, it makes Sting look.
Well, I mean, but Brutus Beefcake interfered. But also, they're trying to get Vader ready for Hogan because that's going to be Hogan's next feud. Yeah. So Hogan can beat Boss Man and Sting. He can say, and I didn't watch the weekly show, he can say to Hogan, I beat Boss Man and Sting in the same night. What chance do you have? They're trying to build Vader back up because you know, he has a long feud with Hogan next year.
And if Vader says that, I bet you Hogan was like, who's the boss man, brother? There's only the Guardian Angel.
Hey, brother, what are you talking about?
Guardian Angel. What a dumb fucking name.
Oh, dude, thank God they go back to Big Bubba Rogers by the end of the year.
You know, it's funny because when Boss Man is Boss Man, his name isn't police officer. It's Boss Man, right? Yeah.
So when WWF owns the rights to Boss Man, though.
Yeah, but when he's guarding, but what I'm saying, his name isn't policeman, right? So yeah. when he's an actual guardian angel, his name shouldn't have been Guardian Angel, you know?
Well, I think they were still trying to WWF him up, and by WWFing him up, they don't want to call him by his real name.
No, but Guardian Angel is the occupation he's
portraying. No, I know. Listen, these guys don't have the knack like Vince does.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, not everybody can come up with Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, I guess.
I think it's a better name than Guardian Angel, I hate to tell you.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I agree. Fair enough, yeah. Tony Schiavone, he starts hyping up the next match. And then while he's doing this and the camera's on him, somebody starts tapping him on the shoulder. And he has to go, I'll be with you in a moment. It's like, typical WCW. They can't get their shit straight. Mean Gene Okerlund, he is with Hulk Hogan at the gym on satellite. And as soon as you see Hogan on the screen, you start hearing boos. Jimmy Hart, this is the part of the show that was so fucking stupid, I thought. So Hogan is at the gym, right? He's at this gym and he's on satellite. Jimmy Hart comes over and he goes, Hogan, I got Ric Flair on the phone. So Hogan starts getting on his phone. He starts talking to this woman, and Hogan starts mocking this woman and saying, Who are you? Oh, you must be Ric Flair's training partner, which is why he's got muscles that feel like mashed potato muscles, brother. It's just such a corny line.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
he goes, put Ric Flair on the phone. Ric Flair, then they do like a split. Then they show Ric Flair who's at a restaurant with these women, and Ric Flair gets on the phone and he goes, "Hey, I'm too busy partying with these women to talk."
By the way, I guess Ric Flair's just given up his family since December.
Yeah, yeah, he's just with these women.
But
He's like, "Yo,
he was like saying goodbye to his family and how much he loves his family. Now he's just like, I'm partying with these women.
yeah," and
It's kind of funny.
it is funny. And then he doesn't want to talk to Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan, he said something to him, and then Ric Flair gets serious, and then he goes, "Run that by me again. Run that by me." And Hulk says, oh, "Okay. What do you want to hear?" And Rick says, "One more time. I couldn't hear you." I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I
No, I
don't
know.
know if they did that to make it sound like some phone call was real, but or if they really just couldn't hear each other. So Hogan goes, "Oh, I got this master plan," and he says, Ric Flair says, "Hey, by the way, man, I'm retired. I'm not gonna wrestle you again. I'm retired. You know, like I'm retiring as champion. You can't get the belt." And Hogan says, "Let me give you, brother, one my offer. I got a bad knee because of that masked man hit me in the knee, but I'm willing to wrestle even with this bad knee. And if I lose, I'm gonna quit wrestling. I'm gonna quit WCW." And Ric Flair says, "Really? All right, you got a match." And Hogan says, "Yeah, but the catch." And then like they hang up, and then Hogan looks at the camera and he goes, "This is the catch. My knee's getting better, brother." And he starts unraveling the fucking tape on his knee, which Ric Flair couldn't have seen anyway because they're on the phone call. So I don't know why he had his
Well,
knee
he's
taped
telling
up.
Mean Gene that his knee's okay. Apparently, Ric Flair's watched the pay-per-view, so he doesn't know that.
Yeah, but it's kind of stupid. It just didn't make any sense why he had his knee taped.
It's a bad segment. It's a bad
Yeah.
segment from both these guys.
So then
And why are
Mean
they doing the real world champion again? They literally just did that in WWF.
Yeah, and Mean Gene, he's with Nick Bockwinkel about what just happened, and
More
Nick
Nick Bockwinkel.
Bockwinkel says, "Oh yeah, we knew about this whole Hulk Hogan plot the whole time." This is what Nick Bockwinkel said. Yeah, we knew Hogan had this master plan this whole time, and we don't, we heard Ric Flair agree to the match on TV, so we don't gotta sign anything. I'm making this match official. It's in a cage match, right?
Yeah,
But
because they want you to buy Halloween
Ric
Havoc.
Flair doesn't need to sign anything. He just says, I heard him say it on TV, so it's okay. And then he goes, it's going to be in a steel cage match. And Mean Gene's like, what are you smoking? Right? So, like, this is a really cheesy segment.
So apparently, I don't know. You couldn't hear the crowd during the Hogan Flair interaction. Apparently, in the arena, and Bischoff confirmed this on his podcast, they were booing that whole segment like crazy. The fans.
I can buy that.
They were booing it, and Bischoff said, in hindsight, maybe I should have like jumped the gun sooner on Hogan. He goes to Hogan in January of '95 and says, "I want you to turn heel," and Hogan says, "No way." So like Bischoff had the idea we got to turn him heel like a year before they do it. It's just me. I'm a Hulkamaniac, brother. I'm a Hulkamaniac. He's the reason I stopped watching WWF. But back then, I would. My friend was still watching WCW religiously. I would go over. I would put it on. I'd be like, "There's something missing," and there is. Like the cool factor of Hogan is not there. It's gone. He's kind of like just bought it. He's kind of just taken everything that made him cool out of the equation. And one of the big problems is Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, it just kind of, they never actually established why they're together.
Well, he's his manager. He's his manager in real life too. Around '93, he becomes his real life manager of his affairs.
Yeah, but like before WCW, Jimmy Hart was always a heel manager.
Well, he saves Brutus Beefcake on Raw from Money Inc. Money Inc. was going to hit Brutus in the face with a briefcase.
Oh.
And he saves him, and Hogan goes, "Because you saved Beefcake, I want you to be my manager now. You're a good guy. You've changed your ways." So they do that on Raw. They do it.
Oh, so that's how he becomes.
I thought you knew that. Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
Jimmy Hart's like, Ted's like, Ted DiBiase's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Beefcake in the face. And Jimmy Hart's like, well, don't hit him in the face. Like he had like a really bad accident. And then in the middle of the match, they beat him. They like keep hitting him in the face. Jimmy Hart like comes in the ring, is like he basically shields Beefcake from getting hit in the head with a briefcase.
Interesting. So they recap Saturday night's main of WCW Saturday Night, which took place September 10th, 1994. So this was just like 8 days ago from the pay-per-view. Mean Gene, he's with the stud stable, and he's asking about Parker's health, and he's the one who tells them, Meng is not allowed to wrestle, and you're taking his place. Then Arn Anderson, then they recap Arn Anderson turning on Dustin and Dusty Rhodes telling Dustin, hey, I want to be your partner. And they hug. And then Dusty smashing a chair over Meng's head, which has no effect at all. And Dusty asking the Nasty Boys for help. They recap.
I love the Nasty Boys Dusty vignette.
Yeah, they're like in this weird clubhouse, I guess you would call it a clubhouse.
It's a nasty bar. It's a bar for nasty people. Yeah.
Nobody there looked nasty but them.
Well, they were like those like the grunge kids. I don't know. They were at a grunge. I loved the segment because it was kind of corny, but also like it was like a good way to turn these guys face. It was, I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked the chemistry between Dusty and the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, I do like it. I did like it. It was fun. I do like that they're in this weird clubhouse thing with these, like, it just looks so fake, but it looks fun. It's funny. It's funny.
But it's like, that sounds nasty. Let's do it. And they do these fit. I don't know, like, dude, sometimes it's okay to be corny, man. Sometimes it works.
No, yeah, it's that 90s corny that I like. You know?
But I mean, like, even nowadays, if you did a thing where, like, I don't know, Cody goes to the Authors of Pain, and the Authors of Pain, like, that sounds nasty, and they all fist pound. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know. I kind of think like there's still room for that, man. I don't know.
I think so. I think there's some characters who could probably pull it off. You know,
Braun Strowman, I think, to pull off being corny.
I will say this though, they do some of that corny on NXT, and people don't like it.
Well, I haven't watched too much NXT, but it's probably because they don't have the talent of Dusty Rhodes and Nasty Boys. So
yeah, I think maybe the acting is not as good.
If Dusty went to Stars and Stripes and they're at like a meeting of the American Patriots or something, it wouldn't have worked. Like if it's a different team, this segment doesn't work. Pretty Wonderful. Yeah. This, I don't know. Is there one of the other Harlem Heat? It wouldn't work. Also, Harlem Heat bar probably would have really racist. They probably would have had like fucking gay. What?
Where is Harlem Heat?
They're I don't know. I guess maybe they're. So you know how sometimes Vince just doesn't put you on paper, baby. They just like, we're not gonna put you on pay-per-views for a while.
That's so weird. Yeah, because like they were on pay-per-view and then they just disappeared. Like they have.
So one of them might be injured. I know they're like at every pay-per-view
on like 3 or 4 pay-per-views in a row at this point.
Well, they're on every pay-per-view in 1995. So.
Okay. So we're gonna go to match number 6, the final match. This is a War Games match. We got Terry Funk, Bunkhouse Buck, Arn Anderson, and Colonel Rob Parker in the match with Meng as their second versus the Nasty Boys and the Rhodes. Dustin and Arn Anderson, they're gonna start. Arn Anderson gets his head beat. He takes this weird bump where his head is between the 2 rings. Yeah. And Arn fights back only for Dustin to hit him with a flying clothesline, and he hangs off the cage to kick him, which is really cool. He hangs off the cage, top of the cage, and he kicks him. Then we get a shot of we get a shot of the match from the reflection of Meng's sunglasses. He's wearing these sunglasses, and you get a fucking shot of a close up of his face, and you see the match happening, a reflection. I thought it was a beautiful shot. Whoever shot
that was great.
Yeah. Bunkhouse Buck gets in next, and then Brain starts asking, hey, what happens next? And Tony Schiavone's like, didn't you?
Yeah, I forget. He's not a WCW guy, so this is new to him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because
the match. Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of cool because he is like kind of forcing Tony to like really explain things. So if you're a new viewer, he's doing a good job. I think they're doing a good job of like introducing new people to this concept.
Yeah, but the thing is, Gary Michael Capetta went over the rules right before this match, and so when Bobby starts asking him, Tony Schiavone goes, "Didn't you listen to the rule?"
No, he was drinking.
Yeah, which I thought was funny because didn't you listen to the rules? He's like, clearly he didn't. Sags comes in next, then Terry Funk, who attacks with his boot off. He starts attacking with the boot, and then Funk gets crossed in the top rope, and then Jerry Sags pile drives him between the two rings, and Funk actually falls through those two rings. He falls through it, it like disappears, which is a really, I thought that was a cool spot. Brian Knobs comes in next, then Colonel Parker, who starts beating on Sags with his belt, but then he starts getting belted by Dustin. Dusty Rhodes comes in last and he cleans up, then he sees Rob Parker. And then when he sees Rob Parker, he starts grabbing his dick. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. What you said, Mark?
He was crotch chopping him, Dusty style.
Yeah, he just starts grabbing his crotch when he sees Parker, like, ooh, I'm horny now. It's weird. It's really weird. It's very weird. Dusty he puts on the figure four on Rob Parker, who also takes hits from the Nasty Boys, and then the bell just rings as Parker quits. Men comes in and he headbutts the camera, and the heels all try to help Parker up, who just took a beating. They have like 5 minutes left after this match. The kill for the pay-per-view goes off the air. So Mean Gene joins Bobby the Brain Heenan and Tony Schiavone at ringside. And Tony gets word that, hey, I think Meng's causing some trouble in the back, but we're not going to get any video of that. And that is how the pay-per-view ends. I'm not a big fan of War Games matches. So this was just like,
This was fine. See, to me, this was fine. They've been building to Dusty getting revenge on the stud stable for Dustin. They've been building for Dustin. This was more an angle to me than a match. People, the WCW fans, the fans of real wrestling, they like these matches. It's Dusty's return to the ring. I was okay with it. I looked at it more like an angle, and they've been building towards it for like months.
That's true. Yeah, they got built to this. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, like, if you're a fan of Dustin, if you're a fan of Dusty, this is a nice payoff. It's what you want. It's what you want. You wait and wait and wait and wait, and then eventually the good guys get their revenge. So I thought it was a good way to end it, especially if you don't have Hulk Hogan in the building. This is the best way to end it. All in all, I thought this. Oh, by the way, did you know Bobby Heenan says it, but this is true. Parker shits his pants.
Really?
Yeah, that's true. That actually happened.
Can you see it?
I looked for it. You can't. I think you can see it more. They moved the camera away because it's a wide shot. When Bobby Heenan says Parker soiled himself, he does accidentally shit his pants.
Oh my gosh.
That is confirmed by everyone.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. I gotta.
Yeah, everyone across the board confirmed that he shit his pants. So that's also good. The man's you beat the guy up so much he shit pants.
The man's in a figure four, and he's just getting while he's laying in the figure four, he's just getting hit on by the Nasty Boys. They're just putting their full body weight on this guy, right?
Yeah. So all in all, I enjoyed this show. I gotta say, this is the second year in a row where I feel like WCW is just has a superior product to WWF. It's just superior,
Yeah, and I would say this is like if you're watching just WCW from 1993, 1994, it's actually a very competent, fun show to watch.
And there's like this ideological clash because there is this old WWF versus this hard hitting WCW, and this styles clash is hitting. So it's like these two ideological clashes are happening on the show, and you can see the fans. Some of the fans are with it, some of them aren't. It's interesting. It's fun. I enjoy these more than the WWF shows. The new generation, to me, they're all just a bunch of losers. I know we're supposed to pretend look, Brett, Owen, and Sean, and they're great workers. They just don't do it for me. They're not compelling. I don't know. This is more compelling.
For me, they do it. They do it for me, brother.
I know. They turn you on, brother. All right, the next few weeks. Next week, we got Halloween Havoc. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan in the steel cage. Then in 2 weeks, it's AAA When Worlds Collide. The main event will have Conan fighting some guy. In 3 weeks, it's Survivor Series 94, which is Undertaker versus Yokozuna in a casket match, Daddy. And then in 4 weeks, it's Starrcade 94, Hulk Hogan versus Brutus the Butcher, Beefcake. What are you excited about?
Triple A show. I want a little bit of change up.
Yeah, I'm down for AAA, and I'm also excited about. I want to see Hogan versus the Butcher. I want to see people say it's the worst Starrcade main event ever. I guarantee you, it's better than Starrcade 91 and 92. But we'll find out.
I bet you too. Yep.
All right, guys, that's the podcast. Please subscribe. Goots, Ray Goots on Instagram, Andrew Sunnaline on Instagram. Leave a comment if you have anything you want to say about Fall Brawl. We'll see you next week for Halloween Havoc, Daddy.
See you.